She broke all the mirrors in her house, if only they knew why. In a small quiet village, there lived a woman named Adia. She was beautiful but mysterious. People often whispered about her because she lived alone in a large old house at the edge of the village. What made Adia truly strange was her hatred for mirrors. She hated the sight of mirrors. One day, neighbors noticed something unusual. Adia carried a hammer from room to room, shattering every mirror in her house. The sound of breaking glasses echoed through the village. The neighbors gathered outside, their curiosity growing. "Why is she doing that?" an old man asked. "Maybe she's cursed," a young girl whispered. Adia ignored their whispers and kept breaking every mirror she could find. She threw the shattered pieces into a large black bag, carried it to the river and dumped it. Her face was pale, her hands trembling, but she said nothing to anyone. That night, the village buzzed with gossip. Some said Adia was hiding something terrible. Others claimed she was haunted by a ghost trapped in the mirrors. No one dared to ask her directly. But one brave soul, a young woman named Zina, decided to visit Adia. She knocked on the door, and after a long silence, Adia opened it. Her eyes were red as if she'd been crying. "What do you want?" Adia asked coldly. Zina hesitated but spoke softly. "I want to help. Why did you break the mirrors?" Adia stared at her for a long time. Then, with a sigh, she stepped aside and let Zina in. The house was empty of mirrors, and the air felt heavy, as though it carried a secret. Finally, Adia sat down and began to speak. "Years ago, I made a terrible mistake. I was young and proud, and I hurt someone deeply. She was an old woman, a stranger, and I laughed at her because of her scars. She warned me, but I didn't listen. She cursed me." "What kind of curse?" Zina asked, her voice trembling. Adia's eyes filled with tears. She said, "My beauty will betray me, that the mirrors will show me who I am really." Zina gasped. Adia continued, "You know, at first I didn't believe her, but one day I looked in the mirror and saw something horrifying. My reflection changed. It showed every cruel thing I've ever done, every lie I told, every person I've hurt. It wasn't my face anymore. I was a monster." Zina shuddered, but stayed silent. Adia continued, "I tried to ignore it, but the reflections got worse. The mirror screamed at me, reminding me of my sins. I couldn't bear it, so I broke them all." Zina took a deep breath. "Do you think the curse can be lifted?" Adia shook her head. "I don't know, but if the villagers knew what I saw, they would never look at me the same way again." For the first time, Zina reached out and held Adia's hand. "Maybe the curse isn't about the mirrors. Maybe it's about you forgiving yourself." Adia looked at Zina, hope flickering in her eyes for the first time in years. From that day on, Adia began a quiet journey of making amends with those she had wronged. She avoided mirrors but didn't hide from her past. Slowly, the villagers saw a change in her, a kindness, a humility they didn't notice before. Though no one truly knew why she had broken all the mirrors in her house, they saw that Adia was no longer the woman she used to be.